Good morning, I am Shaggy, I am Philalitea, and I have introduced into your lexicon obsessive thoughts. Obsessive intrusive thoughts. So let's do it. Let's talk about how my depressive delusions aren't exactly your problem, but that yours are. So what is a depressive delusion? It's any thought that makes your base biochemical rhythms depressed. But first we have to talk about how delusion works, and how a delusion isn't exactly a hallucination. See, a hallucination may be described as the brain's wiring not working right, the sensory experience not being translated properly, and you seeing or hearing or experiencing things that other people wouldn't have in that set and setting. But set and setting language, that's psychedelic language. So your therapist is highly unlikely to have read things like DMT, the spirit molecule, or given a real fuck about the psychedelic literature. Well, this isn't a confession. This is just outright the truth. I spent a year and a half dosing every other weekend heroically with LSD and LSA. Not always were they heroic. Sometimes they were just 1 or 2 tabs, but still, I was taking high dose tabs every other weekend for a year and a half. That's something approaching 40 trips. For 6 months during that span, I microdosed every other day while dosing on the weekends. If there is anyone that you are going to run across in your life just by accident who knows the psychedelic experience, it's this fucking guy. I didn't use it recreationally to have fun, trippy visions and watch the walls melt. I used it for intense self-critical analysis. If I was going to write, this is not Rob Longshore, and he is going to have constant psychedelic experiences, whether he wants them or not, things like near-death experiences, actual psychedelic brews given to him, dreams, visions. If these things are going to happen to him, hallucinations, I have to know what it looks and feels like. And if I'm going to explore his internal monologue, which is most of the books, because they're a narrative podcast, they'll be read out loud and the internal monologue will be done in different people's voices, then I need to know what the internal monologue of a person having a deep and powerful trip feels like. Which means on some level I need to be permanently stoned at all times to know what the internal monologue of a stoned person is like. So if in the last sandcastle I'm going to describe to you people who were born with AR rigs chromosomally strapped to their default mode networks, I need to know what it's like to have little to no control over my default mode network. Which means on some level, your money is going less to food and less to shelter. Eventually I will need more shelter money. But it's going to keep my mind working at 110, 120%. So I know what it's like to be a god.